Hello everyone and welcome to another Halloween Caesar review. Tonight I'm reviewing a game called Once Upon a Castle. It is for 2 to 4 players, published by Blue Orange Games. And this is a fantastic roll and draw type game, and let's go ahead and show you what comes in the box. So it's a little bit larger box than most roll and write type games because it's got some larger size player boards. Everything fits in the box quite nicely. We have 2 decks of cards, one for the beginner and one for the advanced version of the game. And the artwork's pretty fun. I think they did a really good job with this. You know, it's kind of, it's very artsy, like people have drawn these and colored them in. And so it's really plays into the theme and the aesthetic and this idea that really in this game you're going to be creating a castle and drawing a castle. So anyway, cards, good quality cards. We have a good thick thing of papers here that you can, they're double-sided, so you can just kind of outline a pre-drawn castle, if you will. And then you can draw your own castle on the other side. But you can see, even with the pre-drawn one, you can add your own little flair to it. All the way to, you know, here's some of my kids here. We pull out the crayons and stuff. Makes it fun. Here's my wife's. You know, when she didn't get the sun and the cloud, she decided to, well, let's cover those up. And so then she had this little storm, and lightning struck her castle and it started on fire and got tornado and everything. So very, very fun. And I don't see any here, but you know, I've also done, you draw your own little characters, you know, little wizards or baker or whatever it is. You can have all sorts of different people in your castle. So there's a lot of creativity that goes into this. The game also includes 4 player boards. They're double-sided, color-coded with the cards, which is nice. Here's our beginner side and our advanced side that you would play with the blue cards. You got 2 big chunky dice, a bunch of wooden discs for the 4 players, and the rule book. Now I'm going to go ahead and just start here as far as the game is fantastic. I want you to know this game is really, really good. Good quality components. Blue Orange always does a good job there. But this rule book was terrible. It didn't flow well. And as I was reading it, I was just like, what are they talking about? I mean, it's very simple things too. Like the Donjon's floors. Player who add a floor to their Donjon immediately adds that, and they draw a card from the guest pile, and it's like, okay, what's the Donjon? Like, what is, like, it didn't even tell me what the Donjon was. It's this big, tall, I had to Google it. I Googled, what's a Donjon? And it's like, oh, it's like the tallest tower in the castle. Oh, okay, I guess that's what that is. And of course, there is some pictures here, obviously. Okay, but the rule book didn't tell me. I had to discover it by myself. I was like, oh, that must be the Donjon. And just things like that. Or one of the main elements of this game. Let's just go ahead and get into the gameplay a little bit. You're gonna take this. You can either do this or you can draw your own castle on the back. But I'll just kind of show you how this works here. On your turn, you're gonna roll 2 chunky dice. Great dice, good quality dice. We have 6 sides. All the different resources, 4 different resources. We have a resident, or whatever they call it, people side, and a wild. Okay, on your turn, you're going to roll that. You're going to take the discs corresponding with that. And you have like a food. Let's see here. I have a food and a wood. Okay, so let's go ahead. I can put a disc on any open space. If, for example, I had all my food covered, and I did that, I wouldn't be able to place a disc anywhere. It would be basically a loss to me. But at the end of your turn, and only on your turn, you can then build something in your castle. So the other thing that was confusing with the rules is it talks about rows and columns. Initially, we thought you had to build this whole row and then you would do both of them, or maybe you choose one. Like, it was confusing. Now that we've played and we understand what the rules are, it makes a lot more sense. We have these kind of darkened squares, and they are meant to separate the board out. So these two, I'm able to turn those in and build a flag for 2 points. Okay? Or if I was over here on the other side, I would be able to turn these two in and build a tower for 2 points. So I'd come over here, I'd fill in my tower, draw number 2. Now the flags are interesting. The flags you cannot build until you have some walls. As you can see, they go on the walls. So I can't actually build a flag yet until I get a wall down. There's multiple ways that you can build walls. So I can build a wall building a column here. I build 2 walls and I get to fill in a resident. And you get points for filling in those chunks of residents. You keep going. You fill in. As soon as you've gone into the next one, you get those points. If you're able to get all of them, you're able to get 20 points from your people. You get points from building different towers. This tower is only worth 2. This one, requiring double the resources, is worth 5 points if you build that one. So then we have the flags that you can build here. These are just one simple resource, but they're just 1 point. Wall and 2 people, or for one single resource, you can build a wall if you want to build those up quickly. You can build and get 3 people every single time you do that. As well as, whenever you roll this, you can get 2 people to fill in. So we're trying to build up our castle. We get points from the towers and the flags. We also get points for cards. So when you build your Don John floor, which is one of here, there's 4 of them, you get to draw in the beginner game one of these cards randomly. And they're going to be 1 to 3 victory points. Okay, and then you can keep those face down so the other players don't know what that is, but you have some points that you're getting from those. The first person to build their Don John gets a 4-point bonus and gets to draw a sun there. The first person to build their entire castle will get a 4-point bonus as well and end the game. There are 12 main components to a castle. There's 4 floors of a Don John, 4 walls, and 4 towers. That is all that is required to complete the castle. Obviously, you're going to get more points if you get some more people and you put some really cool looking flags on your castle. Okay, but that is basically the game. But let me just describe a couple more things. So on your turn when you roll, the really cool thing is you get to use both of those, but to keep everyone engaged, which, you know, I love when games do this. To keep everyone engaged, the other player is going to choose one of your dice, and they're going to acquire that resource or people. Or even if you rolled one of your dice as a wild, they can choose that as a wild, and they can gain 2 people or a wood or whatever they want, and they'll add it to their board. Now, the distinction again is you cannot build anything, though, unless it's your turn. At the end of your turn, you're able to build. And you cannot double dip. So if I had something like this, I could not build this flag and build this for a wall and 2 people with those discs as well, because I'd be utilizing this disc twice. But I could build that flag for 2, another flag for 1, and another flag for 1, and do that. So you can build multiple things as long as you're not, taking multiple, or you're not doing a disc twice. And that's the game. And it is really, really fun. And again, you have the creativity going on, and the other side, you can basically mark down what you have. So it's like, okay, I have a tower, I have this, and you can keep track of your points down here. The only hard part here is you do need to make a note maybe and say, okay, 2 flags on 2 of the walls and 1 flag on the other 2 walls. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't include like a reference to the flags here. But anyway, so you can kind of keep track of that in here, but then you have a nice open space to draw your castle as you move along with the game. Okay, So quick reference to and it's really, really fun. The advanced side is really fun too, and provides that more strategy maybe for some older players. The cards are no longer just victory points. They can be, but then there's ones that give you special abilities like, oh, instead of using a wild for anything, you can draw a cloud above your castle for 2 points every single time that you do that. And that's awesome. Here's this one. He can, wood and stone interchangeable. Coin, you get to draw a 2 flag. So all these really, really cool special ability cards that you can acquire by building your donjon. And you can steal cards from other players. And you can, some of those cards, each time you do this lightning bolt, you can redo that ability. So a lot of variability with the two sides there, or a different gameplay feel. And I really like this more advanced version with the abilities. It really adds a lot to the game, and there's some really cool card combos that you can do with those as well. So fantastic game, lots and lots of fun. The artwork is great, the component quality is great, and it is just a really, really good roll and draw game. Really enjoy it a lot. The rule book, terrible. It really is. But I think I helped clarify some of the questions that I had. If you do have questions, put them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those for you. But that is Once Upon a Castle, a fantastic roll and draw game by Blue Orange, and that is how Lou sees it.